Let me know when you're ready. Can they see? Okay, let's see. This is a draft, so you may find mistakes in it. We're not finished. Okay, this will be based on the Serpent Power book and certain theosophical and metaphysical teachings in order to explain the book, because the Arthur Avalon, he actually wrote that book in 1919, and he was an academic, and not only was he a lawyer and a judge, he was also a Swami, and he used a lot of Sanskrit terminology, which today have been really refined and a greater meaning have been brought to. Although he did a great job at doing whatever he did at the time, but it was a lot of embedded customs and tradition was in that book, because he was in India, and it's not well understood, although it's well received in this country and throughout the world. It's painstaking to go through it and read it for yourself without understanding the terminology that's there. So what I do, I go in, and since I've been exposed to it for 40, 50 years, I go into it and I explain it so that everyone can understand it. Okay. And essentially what I did, I expanding on his thing, touching all these points that he touched on, but I do it in a more easily understandable way, and without going too much into the Sanskrit terminology. So in there, he talks about the bodiless consciousness and the embodied consciousness in the first couple of chapters. And essentially, this is what he's talking about. He's talking about spirit, which we consider the divine spark of God, which is unmanifested. And he talks about the soul, which is manifested from the spirit, and it becomes the body of the spirit. Then it talks about the Bindu point that's brought forth by the soul. And the Bindu point is that spiritual germ that the soul used in order to manifest all life. And then they talk about the chakra system, which the chakra system itself, although we know the chakra system to be in the body, the chakra system, the chakras itself is really states of consciousness. And we link into those states of consciousness. They're actually realms of consciousness and beams of light and substance that the soul builds an auric body and then tap into those different rays of expression coming from the absolute via the galaxies, via the solar systems, via the sun, okay? And that's what he explains in here. And we talk about the auric body, which is that body that the soul uses for itself to move through eons of life experiences. The auric body that the soul uses is practically indestructible. We die. We are born. We live on the physical realm. We die on this physical realm. We go to the astral etheric realm in the same auric body, and we do this hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of times, and we carry that auric envelope with us for lifetimes until we reach a certain point where it is rebuilt or reconfigured to a higher frequency of consciousness. And these are the teachings that's within there. Kundalini, between him and Swami Sivananda, talks about how this Kundalini is formed. This Kundalini is the Shakti power within the body. And this Kundalini is formed by the soul taking the Shakti power and pushing it down through the auric substance, down through Sushumna within the auric structure. There again, Sushumna and the nadis exist within the body and outside of the body, in a sense, or within the auric structure and outside the auric structure. So you have to have a perspective of this. So once that auric substance was built, there was a silver lining within the auric substance, which the soul had to find that Sushumna. And within Sushumna, you have 3 chambers. And the inner chamber of Sushumna is called the Brahmanati. And the soul pushes this Sushumna down through the Brahmanati. And at the end of the Brahmanati, we are told that you have the Mooladhara Chakra, which location-wise on our body is the base of the spine for the current human population on Earth now. So it goes down to the base of the spine, and because of the pressures of that realm of consciousness at the base of the spine, you have the Shakti power goes into a 3.5 knot that we hear about. This 3.5 knot becomes Kundalini. That's how Kundalini is formed. And then Kundalini releases a sound vibration, and that sound vibration becomes the nadis. And you have 242,000 nadi pathways that pervades the auric structure and develop the nadi system. And all those nadis, they enter and exit the chakras. And doing that, they enter and exit the chakras through the petals. And the petals are seed mantras that irradiated from the Bindu. And they form the etheric body. And then you have the etheric body, and then you have pathways for the energy to flow. And then you have the flow of energy that flows through the nadis, because the nadi itself actually means a flow of energy. That's what the word nadi means, a flow of energy. Then you have the pranic formation, where the formation of the prana within the nadis. And that gives light to the 5 major pranas and the 5 minor pranas. The 5 major pranas are prana, apana, samana, Udana, and Vyana. Those are the 5 major pranas, which actually means the prana is a prana that's located in the heart chakra, and it travels up and down. And then apana is a prana that's in the base of the spine, the base chakra, the Mooladhara Chakra, and it travels up and down. And then you have samana prana, which is in the solar plexus chakra, and it's a conjunction point for all the pranas, because all the pranas eventually travels through the solar plexus. And then you have Vyana prana, which is a prana at the sex center, and it travels throughout the whole body. And then you have the Udana prana, which is the prana that's at the throat center, and it moves through the head and through the arms and through the legs. So those are the pranas. Then from there, the superconscious mind or the mental bodies are developed, which is the superconscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the conscious mind. Right? So there, of course, a superconscious mind is that part of the mind that operates at the soul level. Really, you have a supraconscious mind and a superconscious mind. The superconscious mind is that mind that the soul uses, and the superconscious mind is that inspirational type mind that communicates back and forth with us and is the background for the subconscious mind and conscious mind. And the superconscious mind is the background for everything. So then you have the astral body. The astral body is formed and developed from the mind and energy of the 3 lower chakras. Right? You can actually say the 10 lower chakras, but I'm going to say the 3 lower chakras. And then the etheric body is developed from the 3 higher or 4 higher chakras. And then the most basic body that we have, and the grossest body that we have, is the physical body. The physical body that we can see, feel, and touch right now through our conscious mind. This body is connected to the conscious mind more than anything. So that's just a brief introduction or overview of what we're going to be studying. And I kind of went into this. You want to read it? Can you see it?
The Yogic Introduction to Mystical Sutra. Yoga philosophy teaches that man has many facets to his makeup. Man's true nature is spirit, a divine spark of God, and everything else is but a divine sheath of clothing to weather the pathway of any storms through life. Each divine sheath of clothing can be considered a state of being, manifesting a specific level of consciousness that inhibits the inner light of the spirit. But each divine sheath of clothing or group of divine sheaths of clothing make up the level of consciousness lower and higher aspects of mind. We will help the metaphysical student to connect the dots on these various difficult subjects and show how the aspects of man's makeup are tools of expression for the soul. We will further show the layers of man's makeup that build a complex machine, which are the human and subtle bodies of man that house his intelligence of the soul. The breakdown that we give here for man's makeup is a description of the major components used by the soul in its involved state of being. The soul involves itself and its awareness to allow a portion of the soul's intelligence to gain experience in a state of limited consciousness. The spirit of man, which is a divine spark of God, and the true I am of man, being an unmanifested part of God, the Absolute, brought into manifestation the soul as a body for the spirit, in a state of limited awareness. The soul then builds a series of bodies to work through in order to gain experience in the manifested realms of existence. The soul, being aware of the spirit and its directive to the soul, moved forward to involve itself through the tools of self-expression listed to the right. We will examine the layers of the system of subtle and gross bodies of man, which can be described as the following. So first, I'm going to go to the chart.
You want to go over the chart? Did I pass it?
So first you have the spirit, which equals the I am, and through power nada, the power that manifested the soul, or the soul uses power nada to manifest the soul, and the soul is the manifested body of the spirit, and that is the I. Then from the soul, the soul uses Shakti to form the auric bodies. And
You want me to read it? Can you see it?
gathers portions of the Shakti power, brings it about a manifestation of the sheep of the Shakti through the Brahmic line of force, or Kundalini, Sushumna, in order to produce a segment of
Evolution.
through limited consciousness. And then so that Shakti power is pushed all the way down to the Mooladhara, and there it becomes Kundalini, the vehicle of consciousness for the soul. And on its way down, it is pushed through the Sushumna Nadi. And then once it reaches the base of the spine, Ida and Pingala are the two main nadis that are depicted as crisscrossing up the spine. And from that, the realms of chakras are mapped and form the etheric bodies, the mental bodies, and the pranic, astral, and the physical body. The Shakti power falls down from the crown to the base chakra through the Brahmic line of force called Sushumna. Once the Shakti power falls down to the base chakra, it goes into a dormant state by moving into a 3.5-inch configuration called Kundalini that blocks the passageway to Sushumna. This places the Shakti power into a flux state that brings about a division of its power. The division of the Shakti power brings about the manifestation of Pingala and Ida flow Shakti. The vital energy flow is the Pingala flow, which is the dynamic positive aspect of Shakti. The passive energy flow is the Ida flow, which is a mental passive negative aspect of Shakti power. The power of Shakti found its level of equilibrium after falling or manifesting itself from the Shiva power. This equilibrium brings self-consciousness to man. The division of the Shakti power brings about the manifestation of Pingala and Ida flow Shakti. The vital energy flow is the Pingala flow, which is the dynamic aspect of Shakti. And the passive energy flow is the Ida flow, which is a mental, passive, negative aspect of Shakti. The power of Shakti found its level of equilibrium after falling or manifesting itself in the Shiva power. This equilibrium is sometimes to repeat that. Yes, repeat it twice, right?
Oh, okay.
The Pingala positive and Ida negative flow energy moves from the base chakra upwards, seeking to unite as one energy. Since the passageway to Sushumna is closed or blocked by the 3.5-inch configuration of Kundalini, the Pingala and Ida moves towards every chakra, crisscrossing through each one of the chakras along the spine, trying to enter the Sushumna, terminating its forward movement at the Christ chakra, the equivalent point of the Pingala Ida flow of energy that manifests consciousness on the gross physical level. Christ chakra is where the spinal column is terminated. It's also where the three Nadic energy flows called Adha Pingala and Shuna nadis terminate and merge back as one consciousness. It's the second equilibrium level along the spinal column. The Bindu energy expressed here is the highest level of static Shakti power being expressed along the spinal column. So that's the auric body and the depiction of the chakras within the aura. First you have the spirit, and you have the soul, is the manifested body of the spirit. And from that, the bindus, which are the spiritual germs for the chakras. The chakra systems represent realms of consciousness, and from which the different bodies of the aura are kind of say attached. And then you have Kundalini, majority housed at the Mooladhara Chakra, the base of the spine. And from that dormant state of Shakti, you have the nadis, which crisscross along Sushumna. Then forms the bodies, etheric bodies, and then pranic formations. And then have different states of mind, or levels of mind. The superconscious mind, subconscious mind, the conscious mind, which are govern the astral and physical body. This subject is probably the most difficult one to approach for most students to comprehend because of the limited scope of our awareness and physical limitations to life. We live in a mortal physical state of mind, not allowing us to truly comprehend the complexity of our true nature, spirit, the divine spark of God that dwells within and all around us, and allows us to make our being through involution and evolution. What is this thing called spirit? This has been expressed and defined in many different ways by all walks of life. The yogic mystic believes that God is the absolute, the all and all, the life and source behind all things. It is all things and even more than that. Words cannot truly express or define the nature of the supreme power. Our human mind struggles to comprehend the greatest of the relationship to our divine source. Spirit is the name we give to that part of ourselves that never breaks the connection with the absolute. It is the real you, the only part of you that is not manifested or created. There is truly no real complete definition we can give to spirit because it defines the parameters of definition. Its true glory and magnificence cannot be captured in the imagination of man, in the speech, or in the written word of man. We can only attempt to give some brief limited meaning to it. With our state of limited consciousness, we select and assign names to the infinite source in order to begin to grasp the ancient knowledge and secrets of the created universe. The spirit is the real you, the source of all power, is described as that point or spark from the absolute. The spirit is the divine spark of, as the spirit as the divine spark of God becomes the source of Bindu, the point of consciousness where everything originates from. It is the compaction point of all things, all power. If you have a question, you can stop it.
If you have a question, you can stop and ask.
Thank you. The spirit.
There's questions online?
Not yet.
Okay.
Spirit, no beginning and therefore no end. The spirit was never created, therefore it will never have an expiration date. Spirit is part of that endless static potential of the absolute that has no beginning or ending. It is the everlasting source of pure intelligence and power. Spirit is unmanifested and timeless because it exists outside the limits of time. In fact, spirit is the creator of time and the destroyer of time. Because spirit is the creator of soul, it becomes that force that ushers in this thing called time. Creation represents movement, which is the product of that which describes manifestation. Spirit is the I am, the real self, or divine spark of God. It is the all in all, the absolute or God aspect of you that never manifested but always is connected to that source. Therefore, spirit is not matter, but spirit is that static endless potential of everything. This is the statement behind the answer given to Moses from a mighty aspect of God through the burning bush when Moses asked, who should I say sent me? And God, the lesser Lord of creation, said, tell them that I am sent you. The soul is the I aspect of yourself that is manifested from spirit. The soul is the body of the spirit that's manifested in etheric matter. The mental manifestation of creation is the expression of consciousness for the soul to gain experience through. The physical manifestation of creation is the vehicles of expression for the soul to gain experience through. Excuse me. The soul is the manifested intelligence of the spirit. The soul's intelligence is a direct product of the spirit. Therefore, it is aware of the vast unlimited power and knowledge of the spirit. The soul is the highest expression of the spirit within man. The soul is considered to be the manifested body of the spirit. This manifested body of the spirit, the soul, is indestructible. It came from the spirit and it must be absorbed back into the spirit. Therefore, the soul cannot die. It can only be absorbed back into its original source, the spirit. The soul body is made of the highest manifested matter in the universe. Therefore, the soul is the I of man, and the spirit is the I am of man. That part that is forever connected to the absolute of God. The spirit represents pure silence, a pure static state which is an endless potential of power that the soul represents in manifested form. The soul represents a pure creative sound vibration in constant motion with that power from spirit. The soul is charged with directives from the spirit to involve itself into subtle etheric matter in various layers of gross matter through a process of involution and evolution in time frames of experience cycles. The soul involves itself through fabricating a vehicle of consciousness out of the universal power of Shakti. This allows the soul to place a part of its intelligence within it as limited awareness in order to evolve itself through experience cycles back to its original source. The soul brings a concentrated stream of Shakti power into its influence. While Shakti power is under the soul's intelligent control, it is molded and shaped into tools of self-expression. This is done by calibrating the Shakti power into a minute concentrated stream of potent Shakti substance configured to hold the highest state of intelligent consciousness through the Brahmic realm of existence in an infinite line of force. Known as the Brahmic line of force, the Sushumna, a region identified within the spinal column as a minute field of space that places tremendous cosmic pressures on any and all things passing through it. This area of minute space, the Sushumna, conditions the Shakti power within the levels of consciousness of the universe through the major configurations of the chakras. Each chakra level represents different levels of consciousness or realms of existence. As the soul moves this stream of Shakti power through Sushumna's Brahmanadi, it conditions the flow of Shakti power into a field of consciousness that serves as a vehicle of consciousness for the soul. The soul moves this concentrated Shakti power that has been calibrated into a stream of consciousness through the soul's body of intelligence in a tight field of Brahmic operation as it collects the configuration data of each major chakra, from the crown chakra down to the base of root chakra. Okay. You good so far? The Bindu. The Bindu is that part of supreme consciousness, divine dot, or spiritual germ within the chakra. It is the point of consciousness connected to the all-knowledge space. It's the point of consciousness that is the center of all knowledge space. When man makes a full rise of Kundalini and lodges it in one of the chakras, he he becomes connected to this bindu, a point of consciousness that is centered in the all-knowledge space. This is why we find the small statements by the yogi adepts or masters so profound and centered. The bindu is described as a spiritual germ that drops from divine consciousness, the absolute God. It, the bindu, is the point of consciousness of the all-knowledge space that extends from one life, the divine spirit, the all-in-all, Brahma, the supreme being God. The bindu, as a point of consciousness, extends its voice as nada. The nada forces from the Mahabindu act as the creative wave of consciousness within creation that holds and stands as the potential power that brings about the countless forms and shapes within the manifested creation. These forms and shapes first express themselves as bits of modes of motion, and then they arrange themselves as bijas and become forms of embodied consciousness on various realms of existence that make up what we call the chakras. The bindu, which is a spiritual germ of consciousness, the I am, and the I releases the nada wave that is pure soundless sound. This nada wave moves forward and manifests the Shakti power out of the Shiva state of pure consciousness. This nada wave then expresses itself as sabda throughout nature, manifesting itself in vehicles of consciousness that shapes and molds aspects of Shakti power into animate and inanimate objects. Yes, can you go back to that slide? So when you say the sabda body is the nada body?
Yeah, it's a sound body. There's a sound, there's a subtle or there's a power sound and then a subtle sound body that intertwines throughout the whole system, and that's what connects it. It's called, and we call it the Nadi system, but it's actually sound vibration carrying Shakti.
Okay. The chakra system, part 1. The chakra system is the natural consciousness splitting instrument designed for the soul to allow it to involve itself into gross manifestation. Behind each chakra is a bindu, or a point of consciousness of the soul's essence, or all knowledge base connected to the soul. The chakras are points or parts of the soul's essence manifested in consciousness, but each point gives access to a glimpse of the whole and helps to break illusion of individuality. On the right, we have a picture of the chakras with Ida and Gala, represented as the serpents. The wings on the Christ center, representing the 2 petals, Christ center, and then we have the 1,000 lotus chakra, the crown chakra representing at the top. The soul gave subtler physical expression to these points of consciousness through the arrangements of the sonic vibratory lines of force called the nadis. These nadis are subtle sonic vibrational lines of cosmic energies that flow through the nadis as positive, negative, and neutral charges of cosmic life force that allows consciousness to be manifested. They, the nadis, wrap themselves around these manifested and unmanifested portions of the points of consciousness, which brings into manifestation a magnetic vortex system of cosmic energies and concentrated mind substance called the chakras. Ancient Tantric doctrines tell us that there are over 200,000 nadis that create a complex matrix system that identifies over 100 chakras within the human system. Within this chakra system, there are major, minor, and minute chakras, and each chakra type has a positive, negative, and neutral cosmic energy charge and access to the bindu or the all-knowledge space.
Isn't there a microphone right there?
No, it is here, but it's turned off because that one's...
Oh.
And
They say you should use the microphone. Here, you want to use this one?
start over. Chakra System, Part 3. The ancient Tantric doctrines tell us that there are over 200,000 nadis that create a complex matrix system that identifies over 100 chakras within the human system. Within this chakra system, there are major, minor, and minute chakras, and each chakra type has a positive, negative, and neutral cosmic energy charge that accesses the bindu, or all-knowledge space. Part 4. These chakras are the seat of man's true consciousness. As man evolves through his many incarnations, the active functioning and awakening of these chakras denote his evolutionary status and his ability to translate various frequency levels of the universal mind substance within the sea mind that we all live and make our being within. When man can consciously activate the chakras to an awakening level, he then possesses the ability to translate the frequencies of universal mind, where he can read and understand the divine laws of God that hold creation together. Out of the 108 chakras that are known to man, out of the 108 chakras that are known to man, when it comes to his personal development, there are 7 major chakras along the spine that he needs to concern himself with in the course of his development. The first chakra is the base of the spine, or also the Mooladhara Chakra. The Bijas corresponds to it. I don't want to say it. The number of petals is 4. The name of the tattvas is the Bhuta. Our sensitive matter quality is earth, and the number of rays is the number of tattvic rays is 56. For the sex chakra, or the Swadisthana Chakra, you can see the Bijas name there. The number of petals is 6. The corresponding tattva is Agni, or fire. And it has 62 rays of tattvic energy. The solar plexus, or the Manipura Chakra, and its corresponding Bijas. It has 10 petals, and its corresponding tattva is Apas, or water. It has 52 rays. The heart center, Anahata Chakra, and its corresponding Bijas. 12 petals. Its tattvic element is Vayu, or air, and it has 54 tattvic rays. Then the throat center, Vishuddha Chakra. It has 16 petals. Its corresponding element is Akasha, or ether, and has 17 rays. Then it comes to the Christ center, the Ajna Chakra, and its corresponding Bijas. Has 2 petals, and its element is Manas, or mind, at 64. You have the crown, the Swadhisthana Chakra, with a total of 50 petals and 360 tattvic rays. The 7 major chakras are as follows: the base of the spine, Mooladhara, the sex center, Swadhisthana, solar plexus, Manipura, heart chakra, Anahata, throat chakra, Vishuddha, Christ chakra, Ajna, and the crown chakra, Sahasrara. The first 6 chakras have 50 petals among them, which are known as the 50 Sanskrit letters and the Bijas, or sound vibrations of power and consciousness. The chakra system, base of the spine. The base of the spine chakra is the vortex center of subtle energy configuration that operates as an instrument of self-consciousness for mankind. It is the home of the dormant power of Kundalini. The base of the spine chakra is where the Shakti that fell from the Shiva in the crown center vortex portal and traveled through the Sushumna to enter into the Mooladhara and reveal the great presence of Shiva through the Pada sound, Vak, in order to produce limited self-consciousness on the basic realms of existence. The Mooladhara Chakra has 4 petals, or Bijas, within it. These 4 petals represent the vital life force signatures being radiated from Kundalini and projected from this chakra as the Nadi pathways. This chakra is unique because it received the great Shakti that was molded into a state of all-aware consciousness, and also places the Shiva state consciousness that blocked the door to Jumna, which helped to cause the condition of samsara, the wheel of reincarnation. It is said that when the Shakti consciousness of mind and pranas being driven by the will of the soul, reaches the root chakra, the Mooladhara, it falls into a dormant energy configuration that's called Kundalini, which moves man's consciousness from the whole to the not whole. This omni-awareness of the soul, shared with the spirit in a limited capacity, of course, is lost by the effects of the dormant energy configuration. This energy configuration of Kundalini Shakti is described as being in an energy pattern that resembles a 3.5 coiled serpent that blocks the doorway to Sushumna. Sushumna is man's pathway or passageway to his higher and more expanded levels of consciousness, or what Jesus called the narrow path. Sushumna is the inner channel of the spinal column where the bindus of the 6 major chakras along the spinal column reside. This higher consciousness can only be experienced by Kundalini raising and traveling through Sushumna and activating the various chakras that resides along the spinal column within Sushumna. Now, the action of this dormant energy configuration of Kundalini Shakti blocking the passage of Sushumna activates and perpetuates the separation of the Shakti power. This separation of Shakti power signifies man's limited conscious awareness. I think so. It is the whole becoming the not whole. It is the 5 elements splitting and manifesting its opposite aspects. It is the 5 major pranas of subtler force manifesting the 5 minor pranas of gross physical forces. It is the heat within the Shakti power manifesting itself as the Pingala Nadic force with positive, charged, subtle, gross energies, and is the cooling factor within the Shakti power manifesting itself as the Ida Nadic force with negative, charged, subtle, and gross energies. Okay. Okay. Sushumna is the primary line of force found in the center of the spine, moving down from the head region, the crown and Christ chakra. It is also the passageway back to the highest level of consciousness. Sushumna has 3 inner layers within, and the inner layer is the Brahmanadi, where the power of Ida and Pingala traveling in one direction. It is a pure flowing state of Shakti power. It is in the Mooladhara Chakra, the Kundalini form from the Shakti power by the soul. The Kundalini formed from the Shakti power by the soul blocks the door to Sushumna. The Mooladhara Chakra has 4 chakra petals, or bijas, called seed mantra, which is bits of sound vibrations that carries the consciousness of the soul and help to calibrate the mind and vital energies flowing through the nadis, leaving the chakras via the petals. In the development of consciousness, the chakra petals are used as meditation tools to awaken the power of Kundalini. Each chakra has a major bija that originates from the bindu, a point of consciousness, or the spiritual germ of the chakra, which is the flow essence within the chakra itself. It is the point of all knowledge space. It is that point where the soul is fed by the spirit, the divine spark of God. The inverted triangle is a symbol of Shakti, as represented in the diagram at the top, right, or the mandala, top right. The inverted triangle is a symbol of Shakti, or creative energies. This symbolizes the downward flow and inhibited power of Shakti in a dormant state of Kundalini within the Mooladhara Chakra. So the top right, you have a depiction of Mooladhara with the downward triangle facing the elephant with the, I think it's 7 trunks it has. On the right, you also have the numbered parts that correspond to the numbers in the diagram. Number 5, the Sushumna, the 7-trunked elephant, represents the creative mind substance that make up the 7 bodily tissues, Sapta Dutas, which are highly concentrated aspects of prana designed to build the astral physical and gross physical bodies of man. The subtle pranic or auric tissues are called the dutas, which are the following. 1, the Raza Dhatu. Oh, I think it's Dhatu, right? Rakta Dhatu, Mamsa Dhatu, Meda Dhatu, Ashti Dhatu, Maja Dhatu, Sukra Dhatu, and the concentrated power of Ojas that act as the primary essence for the Dhatus. The 8 spheres surrounding the earth element. What 8 spheres? Oh, okay, I see him. Yeah. The 8 spheres surrounding the earth element represents the earth Kula family. The elephant represents that there is a great dormant power resting in a complete, stable state. The 3.5 knot, the dormant state of Kundalini, number 8, is above the elephant. The yellow square represents the earth element. And number 10 was the residing diva. The chakra system, the sex chakra. The sex chakra, Swadhisthana Chakra, is where the seat of man's consciousness resides. The Sanskrit word swa means one's own, and the Sanskrit word adhisthana means residence or dwelling place. This chakra is the life-giving force of the subtle bodies and gross physical bodies. It regulates the Vyana pranas throughout the human system, subtle and gross expression. It is the place where life is initiated on the gross physical plane. It is also the place where the physical brain, an instrument of translating mind substance, is influenced heavily from the sex chakra, Swadhisthana Chakra. The sex chakra engages or triggers the physical brain to use the frequency of its pranic forces to maintain and sustain the gross physical consciousness. This chakra is the second chakra along the spinal column line of major chakras. Its presence is easily recognized within our physical environment, considering the makeup of our present science and technology today. All of our technologies are based on a positive and negative charged energy particles that come together in order to produce usable energy. When you have an electrical machine, it has an electrical male plug that is inserted into an electrical female receptacle. And when the two are joined together, a free flow of controllable and usable energy is produced, which animates the machine to a usable instrument. When you have a combustible engine, the engine is the female component and the fuel is the male component. When you place the fuel in the engine, the mixture of the two produces energy, which drives or animates the engine to a workable instrument. This chakra activates the mind substance to the level where man lives and operates on a mind frequency that flows through the sex chakra, Swadhisthana Chakra. In other words, the sex chakra produces a level of conscious awareness where its environment is molded into the laws of that shape and energizes the mind substance. Our environment today is largely manifested from the frequency of mind substance that originated from the sex chakra conscious level. The Bindu power that's expressed at this level gives the supreme static power of storing all conscious memories, all unconscious memories, conscious movements, and involuntary movements within the subtle and physical bodies. The sex chakra is a level of consciousness or Shakti power that the soul uses to formulate the subconscious mind. The energies produced from the thoughts and actions of our past daily lives are looked on or called memories. The Tantric teachings call these memories samskaras, which are tiny bits of energy patterns that builds a unique and personal collage of energy patterns that produce its own pressures of karma and in auric bodies, and karma on the auric bodies. The combination of these samskaras or collage of energy pattern dictates the karmic pressures and karmic patterns that each individual must experience according to their own actions. The samskaras are like seeds that have been planted within the auric bodies, waiting to blossom under the right conditions. The right conditions are when the karmic pressures that hold the energy patterns together within the auric bodies begin to loosen, and these samskaras energy patterns manifest themselves through the current expressed personality and level of consciousness that the soul is working through at that time. The sex chakra is the home of the subconscious mind. The base of the spine chakra and sex chakra govern or produce the energy formation that builds and maintains the subconscious mind within the mental bodies that the soul's consciousness works through. A quick explanation of the sex chakra mandala. The blue represents water, is symbolized by a white crescent moon within the pericarp of the lotus. Within the bindu of the mantra resides the Diva, Vishnu, and the Devi, Rakini. On the top part, on each chakra petal, there is a letter. Bam, Ham, Mam, Yam, Brahm, and Lam. The crocodile is the vehicle which carries the whole phantom of unconscious life. It symbolizes the subterranean movement of the karmas. Seated on the crocodile is the bija, the respective mantra, also stainless and white. The crescent moon is formed by two circles, which engender two further yantras. The larger has outward turned petals and represents the conscious dimension of existence. On the inside of the crescent moon is a similar petaled but smaller circle with petals facing inwards. This is the unconscious dimension, the store of formless karma. These two yantras are separated by the white crocodile in the crescent moon. Okay, now the chakra system, the solar plexus chakra. Manipura chakra, the solar plexus, is the third major nadi knot along the spinal column, ascending from the base of the spine through Sushumna, the inner core of the spinal column. This chakra is considered to be the city of jewels. There are two Sanskrit words that make up the name of this chakra, Manipura. The Sanskrit word mani means jewel, and the word pura means city. The popular meaning and perception of this chakra is considered to be chakra where the city of jewels resides. It is a chakra that expresses the power of the sun. It is this chakra that powers the full human structure. The soul of man configured the Shaktic consciousness of this chakra to manifest the power of the sun and sustain the fission force of this power and continuously radiate this sacred power throughout the subtle structures and the gross physical structures during its incarnations on the physical realms of existence. The solar plexus chakra is the storehouse of prana or cosmic energies. It is the conjunction point of prana. In the science of pranayama, there are 5 major pranas mentioned, which are prana, apana, samana, udana, and vyana. The conjunction points of the major pranas at this chakra are the flow of prana moving downwards and upwards, the samana flow located in the solar plexus region, and the vyana flow that travels throughout the body, and finally the flow of apana traveling upwards and back downwards. The first major flow of prana, travels up and down between the solar plexus chakra and the throat chakra continuously. The second major flow of prana, apana, travels down from the solar plexus chakra to the base of the spine chakra and back to the solar plexus chakra continuously. As the first major prana ascends toward the throat chakra from the solar plexus, the second major prana, apana, moves from the base of the spine chakra to the solar plexus chakra. When the prana falls from the throat chakra back to the solar plexus chakra, the apana flow of prana falls back to the base of the spine chakra. In basic man, the karmic pressures don't allow these two pranic forces to completely join together. When man has purified the nadi pathways that carry the prana and apana energies, a balancing of the pranic forces is karmically allowed. Then the combined force activates the Manipura chakra and accentuates the power of this chakra, giving man the ability to operate on higher levels of consciousness. Oh, so that's what that pose is for. Mm-hmm. Okay. In the practice of pranayama, one of the main goals is to balance these two major pranas through the control of rhythmic breathing, which encompasses an even flow of inhalation and exhalation of breath and measured retention of breath with the incorporation of concentration and visualization. The control of prana and apana helps to gain control over the other 3 major pranas, which are samana, udana, and vyana. Samana is a major prana that is mainly concentrated in the navel area. The Udana major prana is concentrated in the throat area. The Vyana major prana is located throughout the entire body. If you were to study any balanced pranayama system or exercises, you would notice that they activate 5 major pranas, which essentially assist purifying the nadic pathways so man can operate on higher states of consciousness. In the Manipura chakra, you have several sonic components that originated from the soul's manifestation of the Nada Shakti power. This Nada Shakti power moves the Shakti power in action through a vehicle of Shakti consciousness that shapes and configures all Shakti power into various forms of self-expression that the soul uses to gain experience in the most basic levels of consciousness. Okay, no questions. Okay, the following are the presence of the soul and the nada sound expression of the soul. Chakra Bindu. The presence of the soul, the house of the spirit. This is the point of consciousness where the soul configures and expresses the Nadi Shakti power out of the Shiva state of being to manifest the bija, or petals, or one-syllable seed mantra of the chakras. Manipura Chakra, bija. The bija for this chakra is the holy sound of there. And this is the sound vibration used by the soul to bring the soul's consciousness into being. It is this one-syllable mantra that gives life to all the other bodies that operate on the Manipura realm of existence. It is the conscious will of the soul directing and configuring the cosmic energies Shakti into many modifications. The 10 chakra petals, the bija, or sound vibrations, give manifestation to the 10 chakra petals, or 10 Sanskrit letters, which are nadis being pushed through the chakra vortex center, assisting the soul in creating a level of consciousness which, with the intersections of the flow of Shakti power passing through the vortex center, configuring the 10 petals and producing the sound vibrations that manifest the consciousness. "52 Tattvic rays. It is calculated to be the configuration of the 52 Tattvic rays or modes of motion under the influence of the Bindu force of the mighty sun, manifesting the power of building, maintaining, and preserving all life within the human structure and assist in the development of the human structure on all the realms of existence. The nadis extends from the chakra petals as thin tube-like lines of force that carries the nadi Shakti, the Shakti as mind, the Shakti as the bhutas, and Shakti as the Tattvic force. The nadis from each chakra builds an etheric or auric body that act as an instrument that holds consciousness in place by pulling this Shakti power or cosmic energies into a matrix that arranges the Shakti to express various qualities of the Shakti under the control of consciousness, manifested by the soul and directed by the spirit, man's divine spark of God. The Granti knot. The Granti knot is a Shakti conversion. Here, the Bindu force of the mighty sun, the Surya Diva group. Is a Shakti conversion here? Is it Bindu force of mind? Okay. Do you want to keep going?
We got 110 pages here. You want to save it to the next one, to the next class?
Yeah, we can start at the heart of the next class.
We got 3. So is there any questions?
You can go back to the last slide. The Granti knot is a Shakti conversion. Here the Bindu force of the mighty sun. But there's only 3 Granti knots along Sushumna, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's one that takes care of the heart and the solar plexus, which is the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that diva group there.
Okay. And that's the Granti knot you're referring to at this part?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Shiva diva group.
and they take those particular Tantric rays and translate or convert them for.
Yeah, I think it's 106.
Mm-hmm.
It's 106 Tantric rays,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what builds the environment.
Okay.
Those rays, out of the 360, hold on a minute. I'm in class. Yes, what's wrong? Yeah, I'm in, you got 360 Tantric rays that flow from the sun, right? And those 300 Tantric rays, when they leave the sun, right here, well, there's more light here, right? Yeah, go ahead. Press that. Oh, this don't have no chart. One that works. You have the sun, right? You have these Tantric rays that lead the sun. When the sun issues the AUM, and the AUM is the creative word, is the word that was used at the beginning of creation. And each sun throughout the galaxy, the universe, is a creative life. So it releases that word. And within that word is 360 Tantric rays, we're told. And those Tantric rays bombard the earth. Right? The earth has 360 degrees to it, right? So those 360 degrees are, you can say that each one of them receive a Tantric ray. Right? And within the chakra system, according to the ancient teachings of Tantra Satra, within the chakra system, there's actually six chakras that receive these Tantric rays. And the first two is Tantric rays that was influenced by the earth, right? And it comes to 118 Tantric rays. The next one is influenced by the sun, which is the heart and the solar plexus center, and that's, I think it's 106 Tantric rays. See? And then the last two, which is influence, is the Tantric rays bounce off the moon, and the moon reconfigure them and bounce them back to the earth and create the mental world in which we live in. That's 136 Tantric rays. See? And each one of them become what they call conversion points, which is the granty knots of the body. And when you raise Kundalini, when you take Kundalini and move it to here, you open the Kundalini, you open this chakra up, you open this chakra up, then you have the knowledge to move out and open this granty knot, right? And then you can move on to the next stage, which is the solar plexus center. And by that time, you become an adept, a young adept. And then you open this chakra, and you open that chakra, and then you can open, you can unravel this knot. And these are actually like ring pass knots, in a sense, because at this point, let's say that within this, there's 118 Tantric rays. Each one of these represents realms of existence. Okay? They're actually realms. The ancient teachings say once you have moved Kundalini from the throat, from the base of the spine to the sex center and beyond, you can rule. You have power over the 118 realms of those two chakras. Meaning that you can move in and out. You can use any element there. You can do whatever you want. You have the secret and knowledge of life over those 118 worlds or realms of existence, those astral realms and physical realms. Okay, so that's what that means. I answer your question?
Yes.
All right. Any other questions online? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Problem.
Nice meeting you.
What's your name again?
Hector.
Hector. Okay. All right then. We won't be here next week. We'll be here on November the 1st.
Okay.
All right.
Take care.
All right. You turn this speaker off. That's it. That's what we over with.